Something alarming is happening across Canada right now. Youth unemployment is climbing. More Canadians are claiming jobless benefits. And the link between struggling to find work and the housing market are becoming harder to ignore. Here in Vancouver, we've been living one half of that story for years. Housing that's so expensive that it locks out young Canadians. But what's new and alarming is that unemployment is rising at the same time. And that combination isn't just a Vancouver issue anymore. It's spreading across the country. In July, the number of Canadians receiving employment insurance benefits reached 552,000. That's the highest level we've seen outside of the pandemic since 2017. It's not a one-off either. Jobless claims have climbed 13.2% since the beginning of the year, according to Stats Canada. And the unemployment rate itself has actually climbed to 7.1% from 6.6% in January, the highest we've seen since 2016 if you exclude the pandemic years. And yes, US tariffs and the trade war has been a big part of it, especially for Ontario's manufacturing sector. But this isn't just about factories. In fact, some of the biggest increases in EI claims are coming from education, law, social services, and government jobs. Post-secondary education has been especially hard hit by caps on international student permits. In Quebec, EI recipients are up 25% since the start of the year. In Ontario, they're up 50% compared to before the pandemic. And here in BC, we're seeing major increases in education and business sector jobs. So when we talk about youth unemployment, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's part of a broader deterioration of Canada's job market, and that has a real knock-on effect on housing. In Vancouver, the housing side of the story has been with us for decades. We've long been one of the most expensive housing markets in North America. Young people here have multiple roommates just to cover rent, or they move back home into their late 20s and 30s. And for those who do manage to buy, it often comes with financial help. Historically though, youth unemployment in BC was actually lower than in many other parts of Canada. Young people could usually find jobs. The problem was that housing prices were completely out of reach. But that's what makes today's reality so concerning. Unemployment is now spiking at the same time that housing affordability remains at crisis levels. In May 2025, BC's youth unemployment rate hit 16.6%, one of the highest in the countries after years of being among the lowest. So Vancouver isn't just dealing with a housing affordability problem anymore. It's becoming a jobs and housing double squeeze. And that same pattern is showing up in cities across Canada. Housing markets don't just run on supply, they also run on demand. And demand depends on young Canadians being able to rent, save, and eventually buy a home. If first-time buyers are locked out, the entire housing ladder breaks. Entry-level homes don't move, which means that move-up buyers can't sell, which slows the whole system. We've already seen how fragile this balance is here in Vancouver. Entry-level homes still sell quickly, but most of the time it's when family comes in to help. If that support wasn't there, our market would look very different. Now, combine that with the bigger national jobs picture. Over 500,000 Canadians collecting EI, unemployment at its highest levels, and the sector's hit going far beyond just manufacturing. If wages aren't rising, if jobs aren't stable, then building more homes simply is just not enough, because people can't buy homes that they don't have the income to support. So, where do we go from here? Canada needs a stronger integration for young workers. That means vocational training, tech and trade skills, and aligning immigration and labor policies that the job market can actually handle. And here's the central question. Is this just a temporary setback or the beginning of a generational rupture? There are some reasons for cautious optimism. Immigration growth is already slowing as student visa caps take effect, which could ease some of the pressure on the youth labor market. And while AI and automation are disrupting jobs right now, history shows us that technological shifts often create entirely new industries once economies adjust. The same young Canadians being displaced today may be the ones who harness AI tomorrow, driving productivity, starting new companies, and reshaping industries in ways that we can't yet see. So yes, Vancouver has been a warning sign, but it could also be a preview into how resilience and adaptation will play out nationwide. So here's the bottom line. Housing isn't just about houses. It's about people. And if Canadians, especially young Canadians, are being sidelined by unemployment, then the entire housing system feels it. Vancouver has shown us what happens when the youth get locked out of housing. Now, unemployment is spiking too. and that pressure is spreading across the country. But disruption also creates opportunities. The question is will we be ready to seize them? If you want to stay up to date on what's happening in the real estate market, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. And remember, everyone's situation is different. So if you want to know how this specifically impacts you, drop a comment below or reach out to me directly at cole@thevancouverlife.com. I'd be happy to help.